Welcome to the Teaching Tip video series. In this video, you will learn how to use a Think Aloud as a teaching strategy. First, we will explain what a Think Aloud is. Next, you will see how one doctor uses a Think Aloud with his small group. After, we will outline the steps you can follow to use a Think Aloud in your own teaching. A Think Aloud is a teaching strategy you can use to model a thought process to your students. In a Think Aloud, you invite students to eavesdrop on your thinking. You narrate the steps you follow as you think aloud about a procedure you are teaching them to use. At the end, you ask students to summarize what steps you followed and why these steps are important. In the next part, you will see Dr. Joel Maurer model for his students how to make a differential diagnosis using a mnemonic device.
And so one of the most recent ones that I saw that got published that they felt showed lots of promise in helping students and care providers be more thorough was this mnemonic that is vitamins A, B, C, D, E, K. Okay? And so what we should do is just spend a few minutes going through what each one of these letters represents, which will then help you start to think about, could this be the cause of elevated blood pressure?
In this example, Joel used a Think Aloud to model his thought process for making a differential diagnosis. But mnemonics are just one of the many tools for thinking that can be modeled with a Think Aloud. You could use a Think Aloud to model your thought process when you are inserting a nasogastric tube, interpreting a lab report, or writing a health record. To plan for a Think Aloud, brainstorm the steps of your own thought process to complete the task. For example, one doctor shares his Think Aloud in this way for passing a tube into a trachea. First, he uses a cross-finger technique to open the mouth. Next, he inserts a blade on the right to gain control of the tongue, and so on. All of these steps must be done in a certain order to optimize your chance at a first-time pass. Before you model the Think Aloud for your students, you should explain to them that they will be eavesdropping on your thinking. Tell students that after your Think Aloud, they will be asked to identify what steps you followed and why these steps were important. During the Think Aloud, describe the context where this thought process can be used. Then walk your students through your thought process by narrating the steps involved. You can also share any experiences or challenges you have faced in applying the process you are modeling through the Think Aloud. After the Think Aloud, invite your students to summarize what steps you followed in your Think Aloud and why these steps were important. To learn more about how to use a Think Aloud in your teaching, visit the link on the screen. There you will find additional resources that outline the steps for using a Think Aloud, along with extended footage of how Joel planned and enacted his Think Aloud with his small group.